Hiding behind the curtains in his studio, I watched my husband kiss his student. On our 10th wedding anniversary, I planned a surprise for him. I hid in his studio. Instead, I found him inviting a university student to pose as his model. As she peeled away layers of clothing, his eyes lit up. "It's been 10 years, and this is the first time I've seen true beauty," he said. Then he lunged forward, capturing her in a passionate kiss. My nails dug into my palm hard enough to draw blood, but I stayed silent. For 10 years I had walked behind him, always in his shadow. I was tired. Inside the safe was a portrait of me protected by an elegant frame. He had drawn it for me to commemorate my graduation. It had been 10 years, and throughout that time it remained a treasure to me. It was so valuable that I had stored it in the safe, fearing someone might steal it. But now I no longer wanted it. I tore the frame apart, the portrait. I ripped it to pieces. Tears rolled down my cheeks as I shoved the remnants into the trash and went downstairs. Ronan had returned with a cake. "A student asked me to tutor their painting, so I had to be late," he explained, as he often did. "Sorry to have kept you waiting." In the past I would have believed him without question. I would have removed his coat as soon as he stepped inside. But today I stayed on the couch, my eyes fixed on my book. "Oh," he placed the cake on the coffee table. "What's with you?" he asked, a hint of displeasure in his voice. "Nothing. You are not going to help me take off my coat?" I studied his angular features. A pair of gold-rimmed glasses perched on his chiseled nose. He looked every bit the gentleman, refined and mild-mannered. Ronan James, a respected painter and art professor. He was also the man I had loved for 10 years. I thought I would confront him as soon as he returned, but I didn't feel the urge to speak earlier. For today was our 10th wedding anniversary. I had dressed up in a special dress and had my hair done at the salon before meeting him. It was the first time his wife was visiting his academy, so I wanted to make sure I made a good impression. I brought a watch along to the academy, intending it to be a surprise. I found the studio and waited inside. It was filled with all sorts of paintings, his work. Although I didn't fully understand art, everything Ronan created was beautiful to me. I stepped up to the dais and randomly grabbed a stack of papers. All of them depicted young female bodies, but none had faces. One portrait carried these words: Why does perfection elude me?" I had long known that Ronan sought to capture the perfect portrait, but I never understood what he meant by perfection. To me, his art was already flawless. I heard footsteps and hid behind the curtains, eager to surprise him. But instead, I was the one who was surprised. I overheard a young woman's voice. "Please don't tell anyone about today, Mr. James." "I won't. It's your private matter after all." I peeked out from behind the curtains. The woman was seated in a chair while Ronan stood nearby, brush in hand. I knew her, Christine McKenna. She had visited our home several times, always bringing cookies and desserts she made for her beloved professor before I could process it. Christine began undressing. My heart skipped erratically. Was she here to be a model? I glanced at Ronan and saw his eyes light up. "Exquisite, exquisite," he muttered. "It's been 10 years. I've never seen such beauty." His hand quivered, the movement evident in his brush. It was the first time I had ever seen him so moved. He had always been indifferent with me, as though art was the only thing that mattered to him. Whenever I tried to talk to him, he would cut me off impatiently. "I am busy. Can't you stop bothering me, Mr. James? Am I perfect?" Christine's voice snapped me back to reality. She was blushing, biting her lips nervously. Suddenly, it hit me. The perfection Ronan sought was the body of a youthful woman. "Yes, undoubtedly," he replied with a smile. Then he lunged forward and embraced her. "Christine, you are the woman I see in my dreams. I love you. I want to love you." He kissed her with an impatience that made my stomach turn. I froze, my blood thickening in my veins. In the past, I would have stormed out in a fit of rage, throwing a tantrum, but this time I didn't.